Hello, it is your Auntie Elaine. I am here today because of a sort of rabbit hole I ended up going down on YouTube today that I just want to talk about. So here we are. There's a YouTuber called Noah Samsen who I watch occasionally. I like some of his content. I like his style, certainly. I don't always find his topics engaging, so sometimes I don't necessarily watch like every video, but you know, I've watched multiple videos. I'm a subscriber, all that, right? And I noticed he had a video out that looked like it was not really the sort of video I'm usually into. Looked like it was some sort of like drama video, but for whatever reason I'm bored, I just clicked on it. So it was sort of a summary of this whole like leftist debate culture, video game streamers, live stream kind of guys, and video essayists. And I had no backstory for this whatsoever. This was a video that was a response to a video that Noah Samsen had put up in a response to the debate bro culture. So, you know, telephone, right? And so, big old disclaimer before I get any further. I haven't watched any of the streamers that Noah Samsen talks about in either video, as far as I can tell. And I'll get into that more in a bit. This is me reacting to content that I saw someone else posting. So, you know, take with a grain of salt. But I watched this first video that was, it was not so much about the debate bro culture, but rather how some creators, including potentially some of these debate bros, use their platform to weaponize their fans into bullying people who they disagree with. And it was an interesting piece, and I liked it. And because I watched it and found it interesting, when YouTube decided to autoplay the prior Noah Samsen video, that was the one that had started this little brouhaha, I was like, well, okay, you know, I've watched the, you know, response to the response. Why don't I see what they were, the responders were responding to? And so I let that video just autoplay. I typically don't engage with content that's just takedowns of people who I know I already disagree with. It's a well-documented fact that hearing a fact or a statement repeated as a fact multiple times makes you more likely to believe it, even if the reason that you heard that initially was debunking, saying that isn't true. So I just try to avoid bad faith rhetoric and ideas that are out there, because to me it's really important not to let those ideas spread out of spaces they would natively spread to anyway. So wouldn't have been the kind of video that I would watch, probably because I would have assumed from the clip, clip thumbnail rather, and from the fact that it was a Noah Samsen video, that he was probably talking about right-wingy kind of types of people. So I did not finish that video. The reason I could not finish that video is there was a clip being played of one of the debate bro content creators where he, a young white man, I'm assuming probably cis and hetero, told a black woman to her face that the way that she was discussing race relations was wrong. I just was like, yeah, I don't want to hear any more of that. That's, wow. Even to refute that, I don't want to hear that. That's just, oh my gosh. It seems to me that there may be some young white members of the left who came into it through this debate culture who are very concerned about winning arguments. That, and that's not necessarily an invalid thing. It really isn't. We live in a country where most of the people who are involved in the legislation, the execution of laws in this country, are lawyers. You know, they're vastly overrepresented in state houses and governor's offices, and you know, how many people have you heard of that are politicians that started out as lawyers? It's a very ubiquitous thing, but that does mean that the idea of academic law, that whoever makes the most compelling argument wins and is right. But the fact of the matter is, just because something makes sense doesn't mean it is right. And so, while there is a place for that in the leftist community, or any community, because that is a reality and a you know, valid way of looking at the world, it seems to me like they may have an obsession of winning that drives them to think of everything leftist related as a debate, or part of their debate. And the fact of the matter is, there are parts of leftist culture that are not debates. There are people who are good activists in the left who are not debaters or lawyers. You know? So if you think that your way of contributing to the community is the only valid way of contributing to the community, then you're massively misunderstanding how it all works. You know, we can make space for people who do look at it as the great debate, because we do need somebody to push back against bad faith debaters and point out how wrong they are. That needs to happen, because that does help de-radicalize particularly young white men. And you know, young white men deserve to not be radicalized. I don't know if this needs to be said, but young white men deserve to live a life free of radical political ideology. They deserve to have a nice, normal, happy life. If they want it, you know, you do you. But at any rate, it just, we can't let it stand, the idea that one type of discourse is the right type of discourse and other types of discourse are wrong. And we can't allow people from groups outside of a minority to police how that minority talks about their experience. You know, you could potentially say, if you're a white person, tell a black person how it's inappropriate to talk about the Holocaust. They're not Jewish, but you probably shouldn't tell them how or how not to speak about the black experience, because it's their experience. They understand it in a way that a white person cannot. I understand a woman's experience in a way that a man cannot. I understand a disabled person's experience in a way that an able-bodied person cannot. I understand the non-gay, non-straight experience in a way that somebody who is either gay or straight cannot. All of my things that make me unique give me a perspective that when I'm talking about those communities, people who are not from my communities should not talk over me. They should not think that they understand my community and my experience better than I do. And it seems to me that it's possible that the idea that somebody from a minority community could present their own life and experience in a way that was unacceptable and should be policed by other people outside of their community, that's just, it's not a good idea. It's just not. I mean, it's mansplaining or whitesplaining or straightsplaining or whatever it is. It's that, you know. That is the essential part of blanksplaining, is telling people from a marginalized community how their experience is or how they should talk about their experience. You know, when you're in these discussions with people who are from a minority group that you're not from, and you're discussing that experience, listen. Ask questions, but asserting opinion, your opinion, probably not time for that. So, that's what I wanted to get off my chest. You know, I haven't been making a lot of videos lately because I have my goddaughter this summer, but she's away with grandma for the weekend. So I have a little time to myself, and that's what I decided to do, was watch ridiculous YouTube drama and then make a YouTube video about it. So, go me. Come on, Keem. We did it. We solved problems.